Hello YouTube and welcome back. This is Goblingee, your host, and I am here with another video for Rainbow Six. It's not part of my Raven Shield walkthrough series. This is going all the way back to the original 1998 PC release of Rainbow Six. The reason being that a few days ago I was talking online with a guy, we were discussing Rainbow Six Patriots and what we were hoping was going to come through with that game, and he told me, well, we were talking as a couple of die-hard Rainbow Six fans basically, and I mentioned to him that I would like to see the planning phase come back, and he was a bit confused about it, which kind of made me think, well, that's odd. And after a bit of discussion, it turned out that, well, he said that he thought Rainbow Six had started with Rainbow Six Vegas, and then went on to Vegas 2, and Patriots was going to be part 3. So it seems that there are people out there who are confused as to what Rainbow Six is, and to me, this is really what Rainbow Six is. There's Rogue Spear, and then there's Raven Shield, and what came after that with Lockdown and the Vegas games was really more a kind of first person run and gun shooters which were being sold on the back of the Rainbow Six name, which is fine. You know, nothing wrong with that. Guys make the game, do what I want with it, but really I think there's those games lost something, and I want to talk about that now with this video. So we're going to go into single player campaign. Basically my objective here is to make 4 or 5 videos about the different aspects of this game. So the first video will be about the briefing, the second video will be about the roster and team selection, kit selection, weapons, you know, and talking about the stats of the individual operatives and why we're using certain operatives for certain missions and so on. Then we'll move on to the planning phase, where we will set the waypoints and the go codes and the orders and the snipe orders, the frag orders for the mission. Then we'll move on to the action phase, and then if we do well and complete it, we'll then move on to the gloating phase, where you sit back, give yourself a pat on the back, say, I did that, I planned it, I chose the teams for it, I selected the operatives that I thought was most suited for that mission, I selected the equipment I thought they would need to accomplish that mission, I gave them the orders, I selected the waypoints and told them where to go, and I achieved, I accomplished it and I won the mission. And that's the important thing, because that's what separates this game from the more modern sort of run and gun games, whereby you can run around in the more modern games and just shoot people. You can do it in this, but you get a sense of satisfaction after this, because you've done so much, you've gone so much in depth into it through the whole planning phase, and that's something that you don't have anymore, and I love it. So we're going to talk about that, and I hope you stick with me for it, and I hope actually that I encourage 1 or 2 of you to go out and find this game, install it, meet me on the internet, and have an absolute blast with it. So okay, so what are we doing? We're going to start a new campaign. We're going to call it YouTube, and we are going to go on veteran. We're going to hit enter.
Operation Steel Wind.
Straight into the
Earlier this
phase.
evening, armed members of the terrorist organisation Free Europe seized control of the Belgian embassy in London. Your mission is to retake the embassy with minimal civilian losses.
Okay, so that is from Control. Control have told us what's happened. Belgium embassy in London, we have to rescue 2 hostages, ambassador and a staff member, with minimal losses. That means neither of those guys can die. At the end of the day, we have to rescue both of them, or it's a mission failure. Now here we have a guy named John Clark. Now Rainbow Six is John Clark, Team Rainbow is Team Rainbow, but the actual Rainbow Six isn't a team, which there seems to be a bit of confusion about as well, because people talk about Rainbow Six Vegas, Rainbow Six Lockdown, Rainbow Six Rogue Spear, Rainbow Six Raven Shield, and as if Rainbow Six is a team, and it's not. It's Team Rainbow, and the head of Rainbow 6, or the head of Rainbow, is Rainbow 6, which is John Clark.
Looks like we've got our first real job. The Brits would love to send in the SAS, but the word from Brussels is no way. And London says the same about the Belgian ESI. I don't have to tell you that we're going under the microscope on this one. There are folks on both sides of the Atlantic who still aren't convinced that there's any need for a group like Rainbow. Take your time and study the situation carefully before you light the fuse. If we blow it the first time out, they may just shut us down.
Okay, so from that we gather that Team Rainbow are new, and this is their first sort of like real public outing, and so there's a lot kind of riding on it. So we've heard from Control, been given our mission, rescue these two guys, or girls, just to be politically correct. And we've spoken to the commander, he's given us his thoughts, and now we're going to move on to the next part of the briefing, which is the intelligence, or intelligence. So in here we have people. At the moment there's very little, so we're on mission 1. There will be more information which comes up as we go through the mission. So here it tells you about John Clark, Rainbow 6, which I'm not going to read out loud now. You guys can quite happily read it yourselves at a later date. We can then look at organisations. Now, Free Europe are the terrorist group who have stormed the Belgian embassy, so having some background information on them is good. Again, you don't need to read this. You don't need to go this into detail about it. To play the game, you can just do the briefing, do the planning phase, or load a preloaded plan and just go into action. And you don't need to do any of this. But actually, it takes you more in depth. It takes you more into the game, more into what's going on, and actually I think it makes the whole thing more fun. Makes you feel more part of it. I think makes you want to succeed more as well. So Rainbow tells you about Rainbow, Team Rainbow, Special Operations Task Force. They're basically they're made up of the top anti-terrorist operatives from many of the NATO countries and a few of the NATO allies as well. It's very it's interesting how it's all made up, and as you go through and have a look at the player stats or the character stats and actually start choosing people, you kind of feel almost like you want to be on one person's side more than another person's side. It's a bit it's a bit funny really. Then you've got Newswire. Currently there's nothing in the news about it, so there's nothing here listed. Miscellaneous, European Union, that tells you about the European Union, and yeah, well, who's not listed on there then, eh? Yeah, I'm sure there's a few not listed on there. And here we go. So yeah, there we go. That's the intelligence phase. So then we'll move up here to the next phase. So it's going to head into the planning phase. Would you like to use a default plan? I don't want to use a default plan because I am going to make my own plan with you guys and hopefully teach you guys something about it, or maybe get some comments back from you guys about something that you would do differently, and sort of play it from there really, I guess. So this will be the end of the video 1, which is the briefing phase and the intelligence phase. So we're going to call it quits there, and thank you very much for watching. I hope that you have taken something useful away from this, and like if you like, subscribe if you like, doesn't hurt, does it? And post a comment, Google +1, any of those kind of things. Love it. So yeah, I'll look forward to seeing you, or well, not seeing you, but hearing from you on the next video, which will be along shortly. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Thanks for sticking with me. Cheers. Bye bye.